Okay, so here we are with a brand new G.I. Joe Classified Series figure, and it's Beachhead, Wayne Beachhead Sneeden. And I have been looking for this guy for like a year. You know, it's like it's crazy how long I've been trying to find this. I'd given up on him actually. I was thinking to myself, you know, I heard that he's basically just Firefly repainted once you take off the armor. Maybe I could get a Firefly and repaint him? That's the level of desperation I'd gotten to with trying to get Beachhead, who is one of my favorite G.I. Joe characters, and I'm really excited to have him now. The thing that made him so hard to find was he was a Target exclusive, and Target did not order very many of these, apparently. And I kept seeing them on Amazon for like $300, like ridiculous amounts like that. And it's no secret I love action figures. Anybody that knows me knows I love action figures, but I don't love them enough to spend $300 on one 6-inch action figure. If I was going to spend $300 on an action figure, I would want like a 1/1 scale, you know, Elizabeth Olsen or something like that. Maybe Gal Gadot. I don't know, but but no. Yeah, I wasn't about to pay $300 for this, and it really pissed me off that it's just like a bunch of scalpers just bought them all up, and were selling them for ridiculous prices on eBay. And I was even more pissed off at the people who were willing to spend those ridiculous prices on eBay because it's a supply and demand market. So you idiots are just driving up the price of this thing for everybody else, when if you just have a little patience, maybe you could get it for like retail or a little above retail even. Like I could understand somebody spend like 30, 40, $50 on it. But like once you start to get into like the $100 range for an action figure that should be on the shelves right now, that's kind of ridiculous. Like it's not even like something that was like a couple of years old and then it started to trickle up to no, it was like that, like when it should still be on the shelves. But thankfully Target did wind up ordering some more of them, and I was able to get it off of the Target app on my phone. So if you look at the time of this recording, you might still find some. And if you've been looking for this guy, you might be able to order him off of the Target app. So let's have a little look at the packaging. And this is the first of the Target exclusive figures I've actually managed to get. I had Major Blood in my hands, but I didn't quite have the money for him at the time, so I had to put him back. Because I'd already, I think that was the same week that I'd wound up buying the Battlefield Warriors set from that was also a Target exclusive from Masters Universe Origins. And since I'd already bought a large set of expensive action figures, I did not feel I was justified in buying anything else that week. But yeah, so it's got like this map of Cobra Island on the back rather than the big painting of all the G.I. Joe characters that are on there. And it's got let's see, I guess this installation here is a Target, and this installation here, I can't quite make out what it's supposed to be, but maybe this is like an airport, and this is like a communication station, or I don't know, maybe like an observatory or something like that. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff to look over on this map, and I will do that later. But yeah, we got a portrait on the front, a painting of Wayne Beachhead Sneeden, and a different picture of him over here on the side that looks like it's by the same artist. And it's pretty accurate to the toy. Some of these seem to vary as to whether or not it looks very much like the toy or just kind of like the character in general, but this one is clearly based off of the toy. So it looks like, I don't know how my X-Acto knife keeps coming loose like that. There. It looks like this one I want to open near the top. Some of these is cool to open them at the side. I can open it at the bottom. There we go. So there's one little piece of tape there, and it's a very thin piece of tape. You can see if I turn it just right, I'm sure like the light will reflect it. Yeah, see how narrow that piece of tape is compared to your usual tape on action figure boxes. But that looks like it'll be the best way to open him. Some of these G.I. Joes, I was thinking like open from the side, or I remembered opening them from the side. I don't know, maybe it's been too long since I've opened one of these. I'm not counting that movie Baroness, because that's like a different... It's technically still G.I. Joe classified, but it's different because it's a movie. Alright, so here's his backpack. And his backpack has the same sort of doodad on the side like the original Beachhead backpack had back in the 80s, which, you know, I always thought was like an antenna. That's what it looked like to me. I'd had some people tell me that it's supposed to be a grappling hook or a crossbow or, you know, something like that, and I can see that too. This one looks more like it's a small missile, like maybe like an RPG that he's got strapped to the side of his backpack. So, but the great thing about it is, the great thing about the original and the great thing about this is you can pretend it's whatever you want it to be. It could be anything you want to for the situation. So it could be a grappling hook or an antenna or, you know, a missile launch. It could be anything, you know. So I like a lot of details like that on toys that are just kind of like, you know, kind of ambiguous things that, you know, the child playing with it can pretend various ideas. Alright, so I want to very carefully take the accessories out of this package, because I don't want to lose any of them, because I don't know if I'll be able to afford to buy another Beachhead figure. I got this one for retail, amazingly, but I actually did wind up having to pay a little bit more because of shipping, and normally when I buy stuff on Target, like, I tend to try to buy, like, $35 or more worth of stuff so I can get free shipping. But I wasn't taking a chance on this thing disappearing from my cart, and I bought it instantly. So that extra $5 that I spent was, you know, my tax to make sure I got it. So here is his pistol, and I think this might be the same pistol that comes with other G.I. Joe figures like Duke or Flint, except for this one is, you can see, molded in green plastic. All of his weapons are molded in green plastic and have no paint detail whatsoever. And here is his machine gun, rifle, whatever you want to call it. I don't think this is based on any real-world weapon, but it is pretty cool looking. Most of these G.I. Joe weapons aren't based on real-life weapons, which I think is... a lot of people have speculated that that might be because, like, they don't want to perpetuate violence or whatever, but, I mean, there's still guns, so you can still shoot and apparently kill people with them. There's no such thing as a non-lethal weapon, folks. You can use a pencil to kill somebody. You've seen John Wick, right? Like, you know, they say a taser is a non-lethal weapon, but you can kill somebody with a taser. So, you know, but yeah, it's clearly supposed to be a gun that fires bullets, because it's got, like, you know, ammo on there. You could, I guess, pretend that that's like a battery pack for a laser rifle or a pulse beam or something like that, but it looks to me, excuse me, it looks to me like the intention is that this is a gun that fires bullets. And this is probably also a gun that fires bullets. So I suspect the real reason that Hasbro is using weapons that are obviously fictional weapons that don't exist in the real world is because they don't want to pay any royalties to gun manufacturers. And, you know, usually when somebody makes a toy or something like that, they change it around a little bit. But I'm guessing that Hasbro doesn't want to take any chances, and they just made up their own firearms and their own rifles and called it a day. So, oh, did I miss something? Yeah, I did miss something. There's his knife. It fell, but thankfully it fell on my couch in a place where I could find it. So he's got a knife. And I'm hoping that all of this stuff will have places to go on his person. So we got the crossbow, which I was thinking when I was looking at it that it would be a repaint of Scarlet's crossbow, but I don't think it is because it's one solid piece. It's not like Scarlet's came in two separate pieces where you have the piece that's like the gun part of it and then the piece that's like the bow part of it. But this is all one solid crossbow, so that's nice. I might steal it and give it to Scarlet because I like it that much. It's all going to depend on if I can fit all these accessories onto the figure. No twist ties, no rubber bands. I was able to get him out very easily. So let's have a look at old Wayne Beachhead Sneeden, who is from Alabama, according to the original file card. And, like, my dad's from Alabama, so that's, before any smart aleck asks, no, my mom is not from Alabama. I bet Alabama people thought that was hilarious. Okay, so, right off the bat, the coloration of this reminds me a lot of the Fun School Beachhead figure that had a lighter shade of green. Now, it was a much lighter, brighter shade of green than this, because that one was almost like a lime green, like a vermilion. Is that the word? It was a very, very bright green. And this one is not quite as bright or as vibrant as that, but it is still a much lighter shade of green than we usually see Beachhead. Like, traditionally, if you think about the first Beachhead figure, and most try to match this coloring, Beachhead is kind of like this almost bluish sort of forest green. Like, it's about what I would think of as being an emerald green, like a Lincoln green, like the truest form of green, but just slightly more bluish. And this one is a lighter, almost kind of like an olive green, but a little more vibrant than that. And the face is nicely sculpted. Like, you can see the furrows in the brow. There's different textures to this mask, which I think are interesting. Let's see if I can get it to focus on his face a little better. So you can see if you look at his forehead and the sides of his head, he's got that detail sculpted in as if it's supposed to be like a knit wool mask. But the front of his mask is a flat piece of fabric, almost like it's supposed to be like a t-shirt type fabric or a spandex type fabric, something that's a little more smooth. And I'm guessing that would be like a little bit more breathable. Now, I think if there's anything that anybody can tell you from the past couple of years, it's that, any piece of fabric over your mouth is not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world to wear for like hours at a time. But I think they designed that figure before we knew that, so this is probably just like, based on like some type of real world balaclava. I believe that's how that's pronounced. Not baklava, that's the Greek dessert, which is very delicious. If you've never had baklava, I suggest you try it. It's very good. When I was in elementary school, we went to a fair at when I was in second grade. We went to a fair at Piedmont Park, and it was the first and still only time I've ever been to Piedmont Park. But they had some kind of festival going on there, and they had a cart selling baklava. It was delicious. That was the first time I ever had baklava. But yeah, his vest is not quite the vest on the original figure. You can see it clasps in the front with various buckles, and that's probably supposed to be a zipper down the middle. It's kind of hard to tell. If it is a zipper, it's like a hidden zipper. And this vest is two-toned, and it looks to me like there's if you can make it out, there's like a dark brown color that matches up with the pants. So the top, the shirt and the mask are a much lighter green than we're used to seeing on Beachhead, but the pants are a much darker brown. And one of the other things I was thinking of when I was thinking about making a custom of Beachhead since I couldn't find this one, was using the Marvel Legends Killmonger from the Black Panther movie. And his pants are actually pretty much identical to what you want Beachhead's pants to be, because they're brown pants with a green camo pattern over them. I kind of wonder if they did that on purpose. I know that the top half of Killmonger was inspired by Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, but it's possible the lower half was inspired by Beachhead. I don't know. So yeah, he does have a holster here, which should hold the pistol. So we'll go ahead and put that pistol in there. And he does have a knife sheath on his ankle. So we can go ahead and put that in there. If I remember correctly, the original Beachhead figure from the 80s had 3 separate knife sheaths, one on each thigh, and then one on this ankle, and then like some kind of technical doodad over here. I guess it could have been like an ammo clip, or it could have been a communications device. I don't know. And I might be misremembering which one the ankle knife was on. But, one of the ankles had a knife, and one of the ankles had that little doodad on it. So, and this one's got, we can see some ammo clips here. So I'm guessing those are the ammo clips that would fit into the pistol. If we're going by action figure logic, that's probably how that was made. But yeah, the original Beachhead figure, of course, being back in the 80s, these knives in the sheaths were sculpted onto the legs, and they weren't removable, and if you wanted him to use the knife that was on his ankle, you had to just pretend he was using it. Excuse me. You're all phlegmy. I promise I don't have coronavirus. Wet my whistle a little bit. Maybe that'll help. He has this little device here, and I have no idea what this is. If anybody out there does have any idea what it is, please let me know in the comments. It kind of reminds me of Iron Man's arc reactor, probably because it's like, got this red metal around this blue glowing circle. So it kind of makes me think of Iron Man's arc reactor. But also, him having this red on here also brings to mind the little splash of red that you had over here on the original figure, which was actually a beret that he had folded up and kept in his epaulette, which this one obviously does not have. But he does come with a beret. I don't think I showed that when I was taking it out of the packaging. And it's got a little unit patch on there. So, he does not have the unit patch on his arm, like the famous one that he had. Let's put the beret on him and see what he looks like wearing the beret. So he doesn't have the beret in the epaulette like the old figure had, but they did give him this separate beret that you can put on him as an option. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have gotten out the Flint figure so I could examine the 2 berets and see if, they're the same mold. But I didn't think about that, unfortunately. Alright, so I'll take his backpack. And one of my problems with the backpacks in this line is that the pegs are so small that the backpacks don't stay on very easily. They fall off pretty easily. But this one seems like it's staying on him alright. Is there a way to put the crossbow in here? Yeah. See, that's why I didn't think that was a crossbow on the original figure, because you already had a crossbow back there. Hopefully it should. Yep, there we go. You can get the crossbow to snap in there, and it looks like the crossbow that fit on the back of the original figure. So that's nice. So I guess I won't be stealing that and giving it to Scarlet after all, since there's actually a way that he can store it on his person. I like for action figures to be able to store all of their accessories. That's always a nice thing. And then we can fit the rifle into his hand. Unfortunately, like what often happens with these, I've noticed, with the G.I. Joe Classified, is that the hand is a stiffer plastic than what the weapon's actually made out of. You can see the handle here is kind of flooby. Just a little flooby. Not a lot flooby, but more flooby than the hand. So I'm having a hard time getting him to grip it. Because what winds up happening is the grip of the rifle, it's so soft it keeps wanting to bend when I try to get it through the fingers that are much more stiff. But I got it in there, and you can see that his finger even went through the trigger guard, as it should. And then he's got the nice double elbows, so we can get a good bend there. And if I can fit the handle into his other hand, which again is like not that easy because the plastic's kind of flooby, but I got it in there. It's fine now. And there, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And when you get him holding the rifle, you can see why they made the decision to make the rifle this green plastic as opposed to black plastic, because when he's holding the rifle, it now really pops against the dark brown and black of the vest. It really stands out. It doesn't quite stand out, I guess, against his sleeves, but, you know, most of it's going to be over, most of the body of the rifle is going to be over that vest anyway. So he looks pretty cool with the beret, but you can always take it off if you want a more traditional look and you want him to look more like the original Beachhead figure. And I think he looks pretty sharp either way. I know a lot of people really like to have him with the beret because I see a lot of pictures of it online. And my friend Rudy, shout out to Rudy if he's watching, he really liked how he looked with the beret. So it's always nice when they can come up with new stuff that old fans can accept and appreciate. And, you know, like a lot of people seem to think that us old fans like only like the old stuff and, you know, turn our noses up at anything new. That's not true. We like new stuff. There are lots of new characters that get introduced into things. Like, you know, people liked, what was her name? Agent Helix, and people liked, the female version of Dial Tone, and, newer characters like that. But the thing is, you gotta make good new characters. That's what people like. I mean, obviously we like the old stuff that we liked when we were kids. We grew up with this. Beachhead was one of our heroes, and he had lots of cool adventures in our backyards and school playgrounds and, you know, long car trips in the back seat. So obviously we love Beachhead. We love Stalker. We love Roadblock. We love Quick Kick. We love, you know, I'm sure even Ice Cream Soldier had his fans. A few, anyway. But you know, I like to think we as fans are open to new characters, new types of stories, and things like that. It's just, you know, you gotta make us cool, interesting stuff. Like, one of my favorite characters from the modern G.I. Joe line that was like a new character that they made was Shadow Tracker. And if you've ever seen that figure, it's awesome and comes with a ton of cool accessories. And, like, you know, that's the kind of characters we want, is things like that. And, you know, this beret on Beachhead, it's a new look that, you know, even if it is a new look, it still kind of harkens back to, you know, aspects of the old figure that fans appreciated and enjoyed. So, you know, it's a question of keeping the old stuff and bringing in new stuff that helps bring it into the modern era. You know, like, a lot of fans, there's a lot of controversy over that Snake Eyes movie that came out a few, you know, months ago, I guess, at this point. It's kind of hard for me to keep up with time anymore. But you know, I kind of want to do a video eventually anyway where I'll talk about that and a lot of different fan reactions to it and why I feel like it didn't do as well as a Snake Eyes movie could have potentially done. But I think the best way to do G.I. Joe characters is actually the way that they're doing them in G.I. Joe Classified, where you have characters, you know, like Duke or Cobra Commander or Beachhead here, that, you know, they're still recognizably those iconic characters. You know, Duke, for example, is still a guy in, you know, a tan jacket and green pants and the bandolier over the side, but it's a more modern look to the character, but it's still recognizable. This is a more modern look to Beachhead than the '80s action figure, but it's still recognizable. And that's kind of the thing you got to do with these nostalgic properties, is you want it to be recognizable enough to the old fans that we see Beachhead on the shelf if all the scalpers haven't, snatched him yet. And we say, hey, that's Beachhead. I remember him from when I was a kid. And we want to buy him so we can put him on our shelf or our desk at work or whatever. But at the same time, make it a little more modern, like they did here, so it seems a little more relevant and maybe a little more cool to the kids that buy this sort of thing. And I know kids are going to love G.I. Joe figures when they see them because they love Fortnite. And Fortnite just stole a lot from G.I. Joe. So, like that Havoc figure that I opened a while back, that was clearly Firefly. But it's I kid a lot, but like, to me, the obvious thing about Fortnite and GI Joe is that the people who make Fortnite are probably people who grew up with GI Joe and liked and appreciated the lore and the characters and took various elements of it. Sometimes it's more subtle, like how God, what's the name of that one character that looks like, it kind of vaguely looks like Duke. I look at him and I see, oh yeah, that's clearly inspired by Duke. But then you have a figure like Havoc that just like straight up Firefly with minimal changes at best. But yeah, this Beachhead is a great figure. I'm really happy to finally have him in my collection. He was always one of my favorite figures in the original vintage G.I. Joe line, and I feel like this is uh, a good successor to that figure. I feel like that this is one that honors the legacy of the original Beachhead figure and takes him a little bit into the future, and also has, like I said, homages to other versions of Beachhead. And like I said, it kind of feels like the Fun School figure to me in a lot of ways, which I loved the Fun School figure. It's probably one of my favorite Fun School figures that I have. So I'm really happy with this Beachhead. I'm glad I finally got him, especially since I got him at slightly above retail because I had to pay for shipping. But it was worth it. And, even though I had to pay a little more for shipping, I still hope I can find another one in the stores because I'd like to have some of these to customize. I'd like to, say do one closer to the V1 colors and, maybe, I don't know, do like a Night Force or something like that. That might be cool. Do a Tiger Force Beachhead, whatever. But, if he becomes a figure that's a lot easier to find, I'll be a lot happier. And to those of you scalpers who are trying to sell this guy for like $300 on Amazon, I hope you choke on that. So, I hope they make him so common that he winds up clogging up the shelves and going on clearance, and you guys, like, lose money on that deal. That would be awesome. So, I don't like scalpers very much. They're bottom feeders. I have no respect for you if you're a scalper. So, go ahead and leave angry comments below if you're a scalper, and give me a thumbs down, because you're still interacting with my video, and that still helps me in the algorithm. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and all the fun YouTube stuff that you can do below. Leave a comment telling me what you think about this Beachhead if you were able to find him. Are you still looking for him? Do you want to find him? Do you want to see him repainted in more G1 colors? I think that would be really cool. So let me know what you think, and we will talk to you next time.